it actually gives me immense pleasure to welcome such companies who are doing extraneous efforts into, not just propagating about the need to have people from the LGBTQ community, but actually listing down measures as to how should we do it. And it is one of those measures, it is actually one of those practices which not just companies, but then it should be embedded within the DNA of our system that inclusivity is something which is one diverse in nature, but it should be, welcomed with open arms. And similarly within organizations as well, my focus, of such series is to instill the fact that one needs to hire basis talent, not basis somebody's sexual preferences. So today we have Walmart with us, enlightening us as to how are they so successful in instilling this thought within the employees of the companies and actually listing down certain measures which companies should imbibe, you know. So I welcome Walmart on board.
How are you supporting this cause? As I said, it's concept embedded within the company, but the motto still remains a matter of question as to is it instilling within the organization or not?
That is true. That is true. So let's start with the second part of what you said, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the whole concept behind this and behind our mission of inclusivity is to make sure that people are able to bring their whole selves to work. Now, whole self can include many aspects of your life, right? It could be about where you belong, what your orientation is, what language you speak, what gender you are, what your family circumstance. But it's about being yourself and bringing your whole self to work, which in turn leads to people demonstrating thought leadership and innovation, which in turn leads to building a strong, sustainable, growth-oriented brand, which in turn leads to business impact. And I think the key to being able to drive the culture change that you are referring to right now is exactly by establishing the linkage between this. I think people get uncomfortable when they view the inclusion and diversity agenda as something linked to altruism or something that's doing good for only one section of the community. Mm-hmm. I think people should realize, and that people have realized, that by doing the right thing for a part of the community that may be marginalized, for example, right, you are really helping the entire workforce and community as a whole and linking it back to your own performance and business impact. So we've done that through a lot of associate advocacy, right? A lot of our associate resource group, for example, that is focused on the LGBTQ agenda is headed by a senior director of product, right? And he's got volunteers pretty much across the spectrum. And I think that really acts as a powerful tool. We've done activations programs that truly involve associates in the conversation. We've even used things like influencers, right? Who are the key influencers in the organization, the high potential emerging leaders? So we have taken programs that are focused on high potential emerging leaders and got them to, for example, do a day's session and interaction with people from the transgender community. And that's been immensely valuable for helping them understand the different side to the story and helping them understand how this agenda comes together to lead the overall business impact that we are trying to drive. We have partnered with a firm called Periphery, and we've actually sponsored a training program with them, where our intent is to really train people from the community on corporate skills so that they can become corporate ready. And then we have co-sponsored a job fair with them. So these graduates from the Revive program, as we call it, have actually been accepted into a very wide range of organizations, including Walmart itself.
Now, you said that you've been training them on how to become corporates. While I believe it is equally important for your existing employees to be trained on how to, accept them within the organization, they get hired also. They get hired on basis their talent also. But then the mindset, still remains the same. They still have to face, there's still a struggle with them to be accepted within the society because,
absolutely,
employees still see themselves as a different community which has to be involved and not one of those people who've been hired like it. So how have
Yeah.
you been trainings around the employee centricity?
Great question. There are two, three parts to it. The first is we actually have programs and sessions which are focused on values, which includes one of them being respect for individual and inclusivity. So we talk about the concept that I mentioned earlier about how it is important for people to bring their whole selves to work and how that benefits the organization at large. So that's at a macro level. Then we go a little bit deeper. We've created guidelines for LGBTQ allies, and we have circulated these guidelines and shared with people to say how do you think about this agenda, and what are the guidelines and behaviors you should adopt as you are thinking about interacting and making sure that you include and you're demonstrating inclusivity and tolerance. That's
Mhm.
at the next level. The next level, we've gone even deeper. Wherever we are hiring people from the transgender community into teams, we hold a special sensitization session for the manager of that team and for the colleagues of that team. And we make sure that they understand a little bit of the context. They know what are the do's and don'ts. They know how to make sure that the person feels included. And then at a fourth level, so one of the things that we realized is a lot of the risk of what you said, which is people not getting included in the mainstream, doesn't necessarily come from immediate colleagues, but it comes from, say, support staff, people in catering, right? People who are serving food, people who are cleaning, security guards. So we actually did a sensitization program for our staff like that, and we explained to them what we are doing, why we are doing it, what they can expect, and how to make sure that they are they are being inclusive, etc. And it was received very positively. People, for a lot of people, it was the first time they were hearing about something like this, and they appreciated the chance to be part of a conversation and even share some very, very fundamental basic doubts that they had, which was great because it all got aired out before we got people on board. But that the
Right.
people that we got on board didn't have to feel uncomfortable with.
Now, talking about privileging the community with leaves up to an year or medical reasons, like gender alignment surgery, how has the idea been accepted? Uh, and, how was the implementation of such policies done? It's very important for people to know that while you have an idea in mind that you want to bring it to the board, conceptualization and implementation of the policy is equally important, and how well you
Absolutely.
draft it. So I would want to know that how did you draft it? How was your implementation within your organization?
Absolutely. No, I think that's a good point. And it goes back to the first point when I spoke about associate advocacy. Along with associate advocacy, the second thing you need to build is leadership commitment, right? And again, you have to help your leaders through this journey of being able to understand why you're driving a certain agenda and what the linkage of that agenda is to the overall business value. I think once we were able to do that, we didn't face a challenge because Walmart globally is also so focused on this entire agenda, right, and has extremely progressive practices. That all we needed to do was saying we are trying to bring the same progressive mindset into our India organization, and honestly, we didn't face a challenge. So there were operational hassles of making sure that we work with our external partners and get same-sex partners included under insurance or include gender alignment, realignment surgery into our benefit scheme. And then there was obviously a financial implication. But honestly, never once did I hear of anyone from our leadership team or associate team expressing any discomfort with it or so. Touchwood, I think we were quite lucky. It's been fairly smooth. Maybe because, like I said, if you come from a globally progressive organization, then it just helps smooth the way.
How does the company stand to take the ownership of providing an insurance policy for them, which covers, all these treatments, could be gender treatment or realignment, or even, I would say people who fall in the category of the disabled. I see they're also being able to get hold of this policy. How has been this whole system been for the management of your company in managing all these aspects?
No, it's been fairly simple actually. We've been able to communicate it during our town halls and other communication programs that we have. We've been able to seen positive uptake. I mean, the best indicator that this is an investment and not a cost came with that when we rolled this out, the positive response we got from our managers was fabulous, right? There are so many people who reached out to us and said, this is truly an indication that we are in the right organization. And that itself was a validation for us. So I think that helped the management and the leadership team also feel very comfortable about doing things like this. And then, we've had quite a few associates take up these opportunities, which in turn becomes like a virtuous cycle of things.
It is fine and it is good to have such policies, but then what should companies do in order to attract more and more talent and hires from this community? I believe there would be no use of companies having such great policies for them, but then they're still not ready to come out or to be accepted within within any corporate world. It's difficult to survive even for a normal human being. But then what do you think can companies do in order to attract such talent?
Right. I think the main thing is, I mentioned safe spaces earlier. And I think the most important piece is to create a sense of safe space where people feel comfortable to be themselves and share their opinions, even if they are unpopular opinions. I think if companies are able to do that, they will just create a good word of mouth for themselves. The second thing is, I think a lot of people who join us through the transgender community, for example, we've really tried to make them advocates of the organization, right? And they in turn have helped us attract a lot more talent. We have made sure that their personal anecdotes are recognized and appreciated internally and externally. Okay. Our panel discussion last year on Pride, for example, included not just leaders and external experts and so on, but included people from the transgender community who had joined us and who were able to talk about what they've been through, the good and the bad, and then talk about what it means to join an organization, right? So I think that leads to positive word of mouth, that leads to referrals, which in turn, to your point, leads to better talent attraction.